Boys, how is it going? For those who have watched my content for a very long time, you know that I love the ritual mechanic. It is one of the oldest, most jankiest mechanics in Yu-Gi-Oh! But I love it. Something about it just gives me that nice nostalgic feeling about the Yu-Gi-Oh! Card game. And to my surprise, there's actually a competitive, potentially tier 1 ritual deck out there. Definitely tier 1 when it comes to the ladder. It's just a matter of tier 1 when it comes to, best of 3 with side decks. And that is the Drytron archetype. Oh my goodness, this deck is so much fun. And I'm here to tell you about it. Thank you guys so much for the outstanding support we've gotten for our Master Duel content. Make sure to check out our tournament happening on Sunday, January 23rd, when I upload this video, so we can see some of these competitive decks, Tri-Brigades, Pendulums, Drytrons, all those compete to see if they can win. Let's get into the deck itself. Let's actually talk about the Drytrons themselves. So they all have a similar effect where they contribute to summon from the hand or graveyard. So let's go ahead and read it. Must be summoned by the effect of a Drytron card. You contribute one other Drytron monster or ritual monster from your hand or field to special summon this card from your hand or graveyard in defense position. So you know how with Vindrids and Duel Links, for example, how the graveyard was basically your second hand. That's how you kind of have to think with Drytrons in Master Duel. And then they each have a unique effect once you use their effect to summon from the hand or graveyard. So this one, the Thuban, this one will be giving you a ritual monster from your deck. There's also locking restrictions about you cannot summon monsters that cannot be normal summoned or set. Or you cannot special summon monsters that can be normal summoned or set, but you don't really ever run into that restriction, so you're usually fine when it comes to that. Anything that you wouldn't, you'd just be normal summoning anyway in this deck, so think of it that way. Next one, you have the Gamma Eltian. This one, when you summon it, its effect, instead of adding that ritual monster, you can special summon another Drytron card. Or Drytron, sorry, I call it Drytron, but it's Drytron, with 2,000 attacks, so pretty much all of them, all the normal monsters. So this can give you another material to use for your effects. There's also the, oh god, how do you even say this? Aldebaha? Oh god, Aldaba. This one lets you add your ritual spell. And then there's the Altius, which if you can reveal a ritual spell after it's summoned, you can draw a card. So these are kind of the bread and butter, right? This one adds the monster. This one adds the spell for the ritual spell. This one lets you summon another card from the grave, another Drytron from the grave. And this one lets you just draw a card. That's why it's played at 1 copy. So those are the pretty much the only actual Drytron monsters that you play. The rest is a bunch of kind of pretty much generic ritual support. And we'll kind of get into those card by card. Here we play Eva. This card, when it's sent to the graveyard from anywhere, deck, field, anywhere, you can banish 2 other light fairy monsters, which this whole deck is basically light fairy monsters. And then you can add the same number of level 2 or lower fairy monsters, but they do have to have different names. This is super important. Getting extra fairy monsters to your hand is super important, because the big boss monster, which we'll talk about later, is the Herald of Ultimateness. Sounds like a 10-year-old named it. Anyway, which this card is really good at getting you fuel. But we'll go in order so we don't go too out of order before we get there. We talked about the Drytron cards already. Next up, we have the Herald of Orange Light. This card's pretty cool because it can be used as a hand trap if you go second, where basically as a quick effect, if you send this card and another fairy type monster to the graveyard, and you can negate a monster effect, which is really clutch. It also destroys. A lot of the generic hand traps like Ash and stuff like that don't destroy. So having something like this that not only stops the effect, but also destroys it is really clutch in a lot of situations. It also helps because this archetype, again, remember, this archetype, your graveyard is basically your second hand. So there's a lot of cards that you can send away to use later, as long as they are that fairy archetype, or fairy type of card. Next up, you have Diviner of the Herald. This card is super cool. Basically, when you normal summon this card, you can send a card from the extra deck to the graveyard, and then this monster's level becomes whatever you sent away, whatever level you sent away. There's also, if it gets tributed, you can summon 1 level 2 or lower fairy. That effect doesn't really get used as much. It's mostly for the send effect. And we do have targets in the extra deck that will give you advantage once you end up sending them away. I also have 3 Ash Blossom in this deck. Honestly, you can play whatever hand trap you want in here. I already had Ash Blossoms when I was building Tri-Brigade, but if you have, you know, your Bell or whatever, Effect Veiler, Infinite Impermanence, you can use whatever you want here. Maxi, if you really want. I prefer Ash Blossom just to stop, you know, myself from getting Maxied and stuff like that. But for budget reasons, to make this deck cheaper, because I do feel like this deck, like all decks, right? If you're just building them for tier 1 potential, they are all relatively cheap because you can craft everything, right? You can just replace this if you want to cut down on the URs themselves. Next up, we have Cyberangel Natasha. Now, she is super, super interesting. You can summon, there's one specific ritual spell that summons all the ritual monsters that we have, and we'll kind of go over all the ritual monsters here. Cyberangel Natasha, the first effect's kind of irrelevant, it's kind of whatever. You gain life points equal to half the attack of one face-up monster once per turn. And then when a ritual monster you control is targeted for an attack, you can negate the attack. And that's pretty cool, but usually it's not the reason you'll be using her. Her really good reason, if she's in the graveyard, you can banish another Cyberangel monster, re-summon her, and then steal one of your opponent's monsters. Which obviously stealing monsters is super, super powerful, but you can also do it just to get like her as another material, and then one of your opponent's monsters as another material to go into your extra deck even harder than before. So really, really strong card. Cyberangel Benton, this card is insane. So if you guys played Duel Links, you've seen Cyberangel Benton before, and she is just as good here as she is in Cyberangels. Basically, when she gets tributed, you can add a light fairy monster from your deck to your hand. Any light fairy that you have. This is not once per turn, so you can constantly keep using the Drytron's effects. And if you have a Benton in your hand, you can constantly keep tributing her for their effects to summon themselves from the graveyard or from the hand or the graveyard. And then you're constantly adding cards with the Cyberangel Benton. So you can add, Herald of Orange Light. So, if you know your opponent might have a hand trap or something and you want to play some protection, you can add your big boss monster, which let's talk about him, Herald of Ultimateness. Oh my goodness. When your opponent would special summon a monster or activate a spell trap or monster effect, Omni Negate. This can negate everything in the game. You can send a fairy monster from your hand to the graveyard to negate that special summon or activation and destroy it. This is not once per turn and not once per chain. So if they try to do something and you negate them and they try to negate you, you can activate again to negate the negate. And I have had games where it goes back and forth, where he keeps using stuff and I just keep negating until I eventually win. Now you can kind of see why a card like Ava is super important to fill your hand, because the more cards you have, the more negates you're going to have. Makes sense, right? Just constantly keep doing it, so you can eventually win. Next up, we have Harpy's Feather Duster to clear those back row heavy decks. There's a lot of Eldritch decks in Platinum right now, so that's why I put in the Harpy's Feather Duster. Again, this can be any of your one-ofs. You can have your Lightning Storm that you got for free if you follow the starter guide. You can have the Solemn card if you want. I personally like Harpy's Feather Duster. Put that in there. Foolish Burial. Sending a card to the graveyard is really, 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 really powerful. You don't necessarily need it, but it is so strong. You send a Drytron, you can use it right away, right? You send an Ava, you can use this effect right away. So very powerful in this deck. Cyber Emergency lets you add any light machine, which is all the Drytron monsters. So you want to make sure that you have the biggest ones. You want to make sure you have a Thuban and a Aldaba. Oh god, I'll never get that right. Those are the big ones. And if you have both, then you can go for the Atlantis, and then if this Gamma, you want to save it for later, and we'll talk about when the best time to use this would be. But generally speaking, you want one of these two to search your Ritual Monster and Ritual Spell card. We also have Preparation of Rites. We use this to add a level 7 or lower ritual monster. So you use this basically to add Cyberangel Binten. So you can get that to your hand. Drytron Nova lets you special summon one of your Drytron monsters from your deck. And you have to destroy it during the end phase. Not that that really matters, because chances are it won't be destroyed in the end phase, and even if it is, you can just summon it from the grave anyway. So basically, you just get another free search right there. Pot of Prosperity. You can use any pot, really. I personally like Prosperity more in this deck because you don't really want to banish a whole bunch of your cards, as there, you know, you might banish one of your ritual monsters on accident or something like that. You don't really want to end up in those situations. This one, you banish 3 or 6 cards from your extra deck. Usually go for 3. If I go for 6, I'm super desperate. And then you excavate cards based on how much you banished, and then you add one of those cards to your hand. So very powerful for consistency purposes. This is the ritual spell card that you'll use for the entire deck. Basically, you can ritual summon monsters whose attack have the same attack to summon that monster or exceeds it, goes over it. And then if it's in your graveyard, you can target a Drytron monster you control. It loses 1,000 attack, and then you can add this ritual back to your hand. You can actually use this to summon monsters multiple times, with the effect to add it back to your hand is once per turn. But you can use it multiple times if you have multiple spells to use. So I have 2. So in a perfect world, I use 3 effects per turn. And yeah, you can use this to your Drytrons. They have 2,000 attack, right? So you can bring out your big, beefy monster. And then the Natasha, she has 1,000. So if your Drytrons lose 1,000 attack, they're at 1,000. You can bring her out. Binten's at 1,800, so you can bring her out as well, which you do sometimes summon. Well, actually, you always summon Binten. That's like part of the bread and butter combo for you guys. And then we play Twin Twister, same reason as Harpy's Feather Duster, just to get rid of Eldritch decks for the most part. Getting into the extra deck, this is where it's really important for this deck. We have an Elder Entity Nittis? I don't know, man. Listen, I'm not the best. Listen, English is my second language, all right? This card, the reason we play this is if it goes to the graveyard, which we send to the graveyard with the Diviner effect, you get to destroy, you see right here, you can target one card in the field, destroy it. So really clean way to out problematic cards, if there are any problematic cards that need to be outed. Otherwise, you're pretty much always going to go for Herald of the Arclight. Herald the Arclight, when this card gets sent to the graveyard, again, with the Diviner effect, you just flat out, you get to add 1 ritual monster or a ritual spell from your deck to your hand. Boom. So really cool. Yeah. Next up, we have Black Rose Dragon, which is super simple to summon because Diviner, send away either of these becomes a level 6. And then once it becomes a level 6, if you have, it's a tuner, so if you have one of these Drytrons, they're actually level 1. Boom, immediate Black Rose Dragon, so that can help you clear out the board if need be. There's also a level 8 synchro in here as well, the Chaos Ruler, and this card's really good because you can excavate the top cards and try to add a light or dark if you need to, and then you mill the rest of your cards, which again, the mill effect is very powerful since a lot of the cards can float in this deck. There's also the the Bird Up Assembled Nightingale, which you can use for combining your 2 level 1 monsters, which again your Drytrons are, to get into an Exceed monster to later build Zeus. This one's super important. Drytron Mu Beta Fafnir. There's a lot going on with this card. When you bring this card out, you can go ahead and send a Drytron to the graveyard, and that Drytron that you want to send up is the Gamma. This is when you want to make sure you send the Gamma in your line of plays. Also, very cool effect. When you ritual summon, you can use one of the materials that's attached to this card for that ritual summon. So the cards that you end up using, the Drytrons, they don't go to waste because then you can use them for the for the later ritual summon, which is really, really, really nice. Just have the Downward Magician again. This just combos into Zeus. You go into your main phase 2 combo to make a rank 3 or lower Exceed monster that you control, rank this up, and then rank up into Zeus. Same thing as the Tri-Brigade combo again. Beatrice, Lady of the Eternal. This is the Exceed that you'll be using the most. She requires 2 level 6s, so generally speaking, you'll have your Diviner of Herald, and then you're going to summon your Cyberangel Benton with your ritual spell, and then boom, you're able to go into your Beatrice. Beatrice can go ahead and send away an Ava, and then immediately you get that search potential with Ava, so when you do bring out your Herald, he has multiple ways to negate your opponent. We do play that Zeus. All decks that play Exceed monsters basically play Zeus. He's just really, really good. If you attack main phase 2, you have Zeus, and then you can clear the board if they have a problematic card or save your send away for the next turn. Really, really powerful. Sometimes I use him just to clear the board, so then when I summon my ultimate in this, he's actually safe and secure. Link Karibo is, it only requires 1 level 1 monster, so you can send your Drytrons to make him, which is really, really good because, again, they can float from the graveyard, and you can constantly keep getting any float effects that you need for them to get your searches and whatnot. So Link Karibo, really, really good in this deck. Again, with the IP Masquerena, I don't remember if I talked about her before, but she's just on your opponent's turn, quick effect. You can initiate a Link summon, and she is a Link 2, so you're going to be trying to combo this with one other monster to make the Link 3 Nightmare Unicorn, which on summon lets you send a card on the field. It allows it to send it back to the hand by discarding a card, so just interruption on your opponent's turn. Then we have a Union Carrier, which has a really interesting kind of synergy with this deck. When he's played, you can equip any card in your deck to this, and your primary target is going to be another Ava. And that Ava, once equipped to your Union Carrier, it becomes 2,000 attack, and then if it leaves the field, your Ava effect will pop, letting you add 2 more cards. So it's a nice little extender play if you're unable to get into Beatrice. Otherwise, Beatrice, you just use it on your turn, and then wait for your opponent's turn, use it again. Double Ava clutchness right there. Some people play 3 Ava. I've just had success with 2 Ava, but you could play 3 if you wanted to cut down on one of the other URs. You're more than welcome to. And then, of course, Access Code Talker. He's, kind of, he's everywhere, dude. He's insane, right? You can't respond to him. He closes off chain links. He explodes the whole board. Great card. I've talked to him so much already. You should know what he does by now. If not, he comes out, he gets attack points based on a link monster that we used to make him, and you can banish links to constantly keep popping things on the board. He's going to have a massive attack, and your opponent can't respond to any of his effects, so you can close off your chain links. Great card. And yeah, that's pretty much Drytrons. Again, I'll have some links or some clips playing at the end here of me playing the deck, but this seems like a lot of information, but it's super straightforward, my boys. You basically, the basic combos, you have your Diviner, you have your Cyberangel Benton on the board, you go into Beatrice, who makes the Ava, and then you're using your Drytron effects constantly to search your Ultimateness and your... and basically anything else that you want from the extra deck. But the big thing is that you get this guy on the board. He gets multiple negates. You get double Ava, which gives you a ton of negates. I've seen some people play B-Buster Drake for protection for Ultimates. So you can look at that as well. For the Union Carrier, when you bring out Union Carrier, you can use that just to protect this guy. And that's pretty much it. This guy, he negates everything. And then when your opponent is out of resources, boom, you access Code Talker them. GG. It's good game from there. I love this deck. This is probably my favorite deck right now in Master Duel. Is that biased because I like ritual decks? Absolutely. No shame on my front. This deck is tier 1. It's been doing great in the mini tournaments, the giveaway DLM tournaments, the 1K tournaments. This deck's super awesome. I hope you guys enjoy the clips. Until the next video, thank you guys so much for the support. Yeah, he was just clicking yes, bro. What the fuck? What's the best card to Cyber Emergency, chat? Just something that's missing? So what do I have? Like, I have like everything except this, I guess. Because we're gonna get Gamma later in the combo. So I guess we get this. Okay, let's start. You have all the names Cyber Emergency plus Fafnir. Gamma. Okay. Ouch. It's kind of painful, bruh. Alright, so this one draws a card. If I have a ritual in hand. This one lets me add a ritual spell, so I can use it then to draw. And then this one, you can add a ritual monster. So let's go for you. Summon. Yes. Give me Benton. Don't mess up like last time. And then wait, is it better to do the draw? Is it better to go for the draw or the ritual add here? I think get the draw, right? Oh no, wait, we have to have a card in hand to reveal. So I can't yet. I have to go this first. I have to do this first. I keep forgetting this one has an extra requirement for whatever reason. Summon this. Yes. 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 I guess we have the ritual monster now, because I don't have him yet. Give me this shit. Okay. Because now we can do this. And we can summon him from the grave later. Bring you out. Yes. Reveal. Oh. Okay. And now we can go into this. Go into... What does this do again? There's just one level 1 monster. We can do it later. No, I just want 2. Benton? Oh, you're right. I could have actually added another Benton and kept making more stuff. You're right. Yeah. Give me this. Gamma play. We know about this play. This is like a basic one. The basic bitch play at this point. Go ahead. Use the Gamma. Tribute. Wait, can this... I can tribute a thing, no? Or is it only ritual? If this card's exceed, when this opponent... you can use... When you ritual summon... No, I can only one ritual summon, okay. Only on ritual summon. Very unlucky. Alright, summon both of y'all. Y'all, boy. Let's go into... Well, I guess this whole time I should have had a negate, but he doesn't have anything, so... I guess we're fine. But we should have summoned our negate by now. Union boy. I'm just a union boy. Set him up with this. Activate this. Summon this. So now I would tribute Union character because okay, yeah, he has 2,000 attack. He goes away. Is this turn 1? Oh, should I go? I should have gone in defense mode. I thought this was turn 2 because he had monsters on the board. What the fuck, dude? Okay. Anything else? Get this back to our hand. I think it's pretty good for now. I should have gone defense. This is still turn 1, so we chill now. Why is everything synergized so well? I don't fucking know. So we have 3 negates for now. So we doing it. Sheesh. We actually have more, because that card will give us more too. That's kind of crazy. Drytron just seems insane to me. I don't know. Just that one. Just the one. Sheesh! Free negate. Dragon Maids, nani? Do I negate and destroy? The fact that it negates and destroys is just so crazy. What the fuck? That's crazy, bro. And compared to the other shit that's on mobile, it was actually on the low side. So, I don't know, dude. I think people, it makes them a lot of money, but it doesn't make them that much money where it's untouchable, you know? It's definitely touchable. If the need came to it. Using this fetch from the graveyard. They see Drytron, they scoop, I guess. Is the game free-to-play friendly? It is. You do not hit a paywall fast at all. That's big cap, big cap. Benton. Give me a... I guess give me Diviner here, actually. So I can get my level 6 going. And I can summon Benton later. What's Bird Up? It's Tri-Brigade with that, Weeaboo Bird deck. I don't know how to say it. Do I need multiple Bentons here? Benton for Benton. Summon. Activate it. Beatrice. Activate. Yes. 1, 2. One. 2. Okay. Now we go into Succeed. Drop the Gamma. I'm just a Gamma boy. Yep, we're good. I feel pretty good about this one, boys. I'm learning. We activate. Yeah, we pop Benton. Yeah. Benton effect. Search out our boy. Sheesh. Now how many cards in hand, actually? Where's all my Avas? Did I banish one? No. I should have one more. I think this deck plays 3, I'm pretty sure. Well, either way. They should be okay. Okay, we go to this. Yeah. Do I not play 3? Do I only play 2? I guess I only play 2. Well, I guess I don't need Beatrice then. Anymore. I guess I didn't need Union character. I thought I played 3. That's the one thing that messed me up there a little bit. Summon in defense to play around Lightning Storm. Wait, what? Wait, what did I mess up? It didn't give me the activation for Ava. Can I check my grave? Ah! Alright, whatever.